Madam, you might want to put some clothes on. There might be children watching. Okie dokie. What? Press E for interactions and F for flashlight. Okay, right. You have a hole in your head. Okay, let's start again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to something called SCP-847, which is not an SCP I am familiar with. I presume it has something to do with mannequins, or possibly clothes. I can't get through here. I can admire. What is that? Is that a hat? Is that hair? Or is that something you stick on top of a fancy Christmas present? I don't know. Modern fashion is a bit beyond me. Though some would say all fashion is beyond me, and frankly I can't say that I would entirely disagree with them. Okay, good. That's not blood. That's just a load of rubbish on the floor. What does this say? That does say something. I think it's written in German, possibly? I don't know. Okay, through there. I'm going to turn the volume a bit because it's really quiet, and I want to get properly spooked by a nice scare. I don't know what those are. I don't know whether those are characters or just drawings of something. Okay, so there's a staircase here, but I can't go down into it. I cannot take my very dapper shoes down into the water. I presume I need to find some sort of a diving suit or something first before I'm able to do that. Unless I need to press E to interact on that. But that's not something I've done before. Oh, goodness. Are those mannequins or blow-up dolls? I'm honestly not sure. Can I interact with this? Get this working again? No, potentially not. Why do you all have bags over you? And why do none of you have any clothes on? I have many, many questions. Oh, a little key. Is the reaction we normally hear whenever it's whenever a woman... let's not even go there, because frankly that's just depressing me with the realism of it all. And I'm not talking about the realism of the scream. Okay, right. Never mind that. So that, presumably, is the key that will open this door. Maybe that valve actually will reduce the water level. Maybe that's what it's going to do. Yay! We have succeeded. In something, anyway. I don't seem to be able to... Not that. I don't seem to be able to, Oh, it was this? This reminds me of my school days. Not because I was a comic genius. Okay, can I go down here now? No, seemingly not. Okay, so what do I want that big box for? Just stop giggling. It's very disconcerting. No, it doesn't let me interact with any of this. I can't sprint either. So what do I want that big box for? What does that achieve? Because presumably I need to go down into that, that watery place, but I don't know how to reduce the water level if I can't just turn that valve. There's another... Okay, there's not really a door here. It's got hinges on both sides, bizarrely, but no handles. Okay, I don't think it is here then, so maybe it's back in that other room where all those mannequins were. Presumably it must be if there's nothing else here. At least with the key, you know what it's for. When it's just a random, bizarre orange box, it's a little difficult. I don't know. I guess it's maybe like some tools or something. Maybe I can use those on the generator, and that'll power up like a pump or something, and that'll get the water to go down. It's about the best bit I've got at the moment. At least you're still here. Got someone to keep me company. Oh, it was fuel. It was a jerry can. I thought it was like a briefcase of fuel. Yay! Some light! Goodness. Because light is really going to improve the experience. To be honest with you, darkness is the only thing that saves me in these sorts of encounters. Has that lowered the water? No, it hasn't. It's just added a load of electricity to the building, which means I'm probably going to get electrocuted when I step into this. But again, I'm still not willing to do that. My word, the water is filthy. Okay, can I now turn the valve? Yes, I can. Okay, so this is just an exercise in ping pong, bouncing between one end of a corridor and another. Hi, friends! Oh, giddy up. Yes, I wanted to shut the door. Evening. How's it going? Could you go away? The heck was that noise? Oh, she's gone now. I dread to think what of mine she's taken with me. With her. Getting out. Okay. Yes, indeed. We have lowered the water level. I still can't go down here. Oh, I can. I just have to sort of go down the very edges of it. My shadow betrays me having nice hair. What is going on? Hi again! Why are there mannequins in cages like slaves? Why are you holding your head in your hands? Literally holding your head in your hands. And now we have a bunch of hieroglyphs. Okay, do I need to solve like a code? Oh gosh, I do not look forward to trying to solve this. Okay, the hell is going on here? I can't even see that. Let me turn this off to make it a bit darker. Okay, so I need like 7 digits. But what are those digits? I'm stealing into the empty blackness of my soul, it would seem. There are certain symbols. There's a symbol there. There's a symbol under there. There's one on the floor. I don't know what order they go in. There's one there on the back. And there's a 4th one here. So let me translate these 4 symbols into what they are, and then I guess we're just going to have to do random trial and error in terms of trying to figure out what the sequence is. Okay, so the 4 symbols translate to K, AA, NF, and ZX. So now I presumably can translate each of those into a number from this. So K, for example, goes to 8, and AA goes to 11, and NF goes to 92, and ZX goes to 17. So that does produce 7 numbers. I just haven't got a baldies what order they're supposed to go in. I would guess that's the first one, which was the K, I think. Yes, I'm guessing it's that one, that one, that one, that one, going around sort of clockwise from where I entered, which would make this. How do I type this in with the keys, presumably? No, I don't. Oh, like that. Okay, so then 8, 11, 11, 11, 11. 1, 1 is what I meant. Yeah, I worked it out on my very first try. I'm extremely proud of myself. Right. I'm also slightly confused that my shadow doesn't betray the fact that I'm holding up a flashlight, but never mind. Oh, you've opened the door for me. How kind of you. How neighbourly. How polite. You shut it behind me. Goodness, I don't need to do anything around here, do I? Just got you waiting on me hand and foot, slamming doors in my face, making me feel very unwelcome. That's not so neighbourly. What? Idiot. Okay, let's have a look down here. What are you doing? What are you removing? Idiot. I feel like I'm having a rather caveman-style organ transplant. And now we're out at sea. With very sporadic storms. Can I? Oh, I can. I can still move. I suppose I shall walk towards the sun. And eventually I'll get there. Could you tell me what you are? Can you understand me? Oh, I have dialogue choices. Okay. Could you tell me what you are? Hello, Professor. How can I? Could you be more specific? What precisely do you teach? In what school do you work? At what level do you like to teach? That would be kind of you. In the meantime, I might buy you a slightly better microphone so that I don't have to listen to all of this corruption. How do you enlighten people? Does it involve murder? I think it's going to involve murder. I feel like we're repeatedly coming back to that phrase. What do you teach? It's like somebody trying to feign their way through a job interview and they don't really have the faintest idea what they're talking about. Well, you are very bright. Physically, not proverbially. I do not wish to do that at the moment. May I ask you some more questions? Really? You're standing out here in the middle of a bizarre ocean that apparently you can stand on instead of swim in. There's stormy clouds all around you. We've just had an organ transplant by a random woman in a very fetching top. And you don't particularly want to open your mind to the random sun god that wants to open your brain and shove knowledge in there? Okay. To each their own. That's very nice of you. It's kind of a prettier version of Google. How old are you? That's a little bit, blunt. Will enlightenment lead to my death? Sounds like an argument for eugenics. Can you teach me through talking to me? Right. So I think I'm going to get killed then. I see the mosquitoes have been at me again. Okay. I am really going to have to read the 847 document at the end of this because this is bizarre. This is really bizarre. Oh, I like the head bob to sort of simulate injury. That works quite nicely. Oh, we're back here again. Oh, I have become a mannequin myself. Hang on a minute. That's the same red pattern on the hand that the woman who murdered me had. Is that it? I wish they'd get more bizarritude. No, that is it. Okay. Well, that certainly was bizarre. Oh, that's a different SCP. That's SCP-606. Okay. We're going to completely ignore the crazy amount of deja vu I'm feeling right now. Okay. I am going to go and have a quick read of 606 and 847. I'm going to go quickly read those documents and come back and see whether I can provide any enlightenment that doesn't involve breaking your brain over and shoving light in there. Right. So, upon doing some research, it seems to matter that I has boobs, is the long and the short of it. It would seem, for this SCP, which is indeed a mannequin, seems to viciously and violently and invariably attack any woman it meets, and not do that to blokes. To blokes, it just kind of walks up to them and then lets the bloke pose them, because that isn't creepy or anything. It also writes messages on mirrors when left alone, implying it's pining for some kind of companionship, which is all a bit bizarre, frankly. And it seems that during the murdering of women, it breaks parts of its own body, and then it steals parts of the woman's body in order to rebuild her own, which is all, frankly, a bit weird. But, anyway, that's bizarre. Of course it came from Las Vegas, all the best things in life do. Anyway, so 606 is just a bit weird. It seems to have come from France. It seems to be entirely devoid of matter. It's just a great big yellow ball. The main thing I learned from it is apparently light is measured in candles, which is a bizarre way of measuring light. But never mind, whatever makes the scientists happy, I suppose. And yes, enlightenment does produce death. I don't think it's intentional, though. It seems to kind of envelop the person it's trying to enlighten and sort of download all of its information into the subject, which kind of overloads the human brain and kills them, it would seem to be. Which is bizarre. Very odd, indeed. But, yes, that was weird. That was quite fun. I rather enjoyed it. As a horror game, quite good. I'm not really sure how 606 comes into the equation of 847, I don't really see how those two things are connected to each other. I don't know whether they've got some sort of shared history or something. But, yes. I don't quite see the connection between me being assaulted by 847 and then going into some sort of weird hallucinatory world where I encounter 606 and then randomly getting booted out of there and realising that I have been slightly murdered. Anyway, that was quite fun. I rather enjoyed that, and given how many dreadful SCP games there are out there, I'm rather glad that we got to muck around with one. That was quite fun. So anyway, that was SCP-847 and a little bit of 606 as well. Always nice to meet a couple of new creepy SCPs. I don't particularly have much of a problem with mannequins. To be honest, I think they're kind of unnecessary. I personally think if you want to display clothes in a shop window, they don't need to look like this human. I'd be quite happy if they didn't have faces and hands and perfectly moulded feet and perfectly moulded most other things. If you go around most of the shops that I do. But yes, it's all a bit bizarre. I'm wondering whether it might be you now, whether you actually might be 847, because they mentioned that she's always slightly broken, she's never in pristine condition, there's always some form of damage to her, and obviously, you know, these kids here are missing quite a lot, but yeah, it might be you. It might be, that might be where she comes from. Also, I have no idea what all these footballs are about. Not about these, but anyway, always nice to meet a couple more SCPs. That's that. Why is the logo upside down? I mean, ignoring Mr. Migraine over here for a minute. Why is the logo upside down? How does one play the game? By nailing some hammers into the wall. I mean the other way around, it seems, according to that sound effect. Where's to move, shift to run, space to jump, E to hit right and left mouse button to shoot. Right, basically the basic 6 controls of any game in history. I think that's an airsoft rifle, or somebody who's really, really actively attempting to hammer some stuff in, and that's an encouraging thing to start with. And get a shelf up, one presumes. Right, okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a game called SCP-096, The Dungeon. There is a weapon on your right. Go get it. What, over there? Oh, you probably mean over there. Ah, thank you for being clear, given how blind I am. This gun seems enormous. This is a special gun that has just been invented. Each bullet fired can make SCP-096 freeze for a few seconds. Then, may I ask, why am I holding it this way instead of holding it that way? I'm no expert when it comes to guns, but with being British and all, but at the same time, one has many questions. Allow me to answer some of your questions, however, by telling you what the game is about. So obviously it's an SCP game about 096, and if you're not familiar with the designation of 096... Oh, evening. I haven't any bullets, and this is a severe problem in life. Ah, here we are, some bullets. Can I aim? No, I can't. Literally can I aim, because I can't stop you, despite the fact that this gun doesn't work. Oh. Marvellous. I should probably take advantage of this opportunity and get behind you, because it seems I'm in a little bit of a dead end. Right, okay. That was a little unexpected, but never mind. Let's leave that to one side. Yes, that is 096, the joy of 096. And this is 096's dinner. What the hell did this say? I feel like some letters from this are missing. I have no idea which ones they were, or what words they were trying to constitute. Never mind. Okay, so we've survived our first encounter. Let us hope we can also survive these very loud footsteps. It makes it sound like we're standing on some sort of tea tray. I like the lighting though. It's quite well put together, and my gun is pointing in roughly the correct direction now. Perhaps I didn't have any bullets in it. Perhaps that was the point we were quibbling over. Yes, apparently he has escaped his normal containment and has gone to live in a dungeon. This is said dungeon. You found a piece of paper. Okay, is that supposed to serve some sort of purpose? He's gone to live in a dungeon in the forest, and you play as a Class D personnel, and you have to go and... Well, to be honest, that's where the game stopped being very clear in its explanations of why this guy is suddenly so quiet, and now I've run out of bullets. What happens if each bullet fired will make him stop? Because it seems like it's about every 10th bullet fired will make him stop. But never mind. Also, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Why is the logo upside down? Okay, he sounded like he was right on top of me, but now he's just got stopped. Okay. Should I go into the tomato paste factory with very low hygiene standards, which seemingly has more tomato paste on the other side, or shall I go the direction which doesn't have any death in it? Let's try this one. Ah. This is the chair factory, it would seem, or the chair breeding ground, perhaps, where they just breed chairs and floating keys. Give me that. Thank you very much. Could I have a few more bullets? I don't feel like they're going to really do anything, but I think I would just feel a little bit safer if I could have, if I could have the confidence to get between these chairs. But it would seem I do not have such a thing. Right, let us go investigate the tomato factory. Oh, this was previously locked. Well, this fella's just had a bright idea, it would seem. Normally the light bulbs go above the bonds, not above the pore. But then again, you don't actually have a bonds unless that is a bonds. It does appear to have two tiny eyes on it, so perhaps it is. But never mind, let's have this. I have no idea what this is. I have absolutely no idea. Presumably a tomato, judging off what the factory is all about, it would seem. Right. Never mind. But yes, I don't actually know what the goal is. I presume it's not to kill him, because if I remember correctly from reading about him, he's never been permeable to any kind of assault from any kind of weapon. He's always sort of rejuvenated his body from it. So see, the thing is, I don't know whether I'm being stealthy and he hasn't noticed me, or whether I'm not being stealthy and he's just got slightly stuck on a door frame. I'm also not entirely convinced this particular version of 096 works off a system of being seen. What's that? Okay, that was a little unexpected. I appear to have telekinesis. Of course I do. Maybe I'm an SCP myself instead of just a Class D. Right. You seemingly can't get through this door, which is a good thing. The bad thing is that I can't shut the door. But I've got to get through here, which isn't going to go very well. So I'm going to take one long look into your gaping maw, and then I'm going to run away. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I couldn't even make up my own frickin' mind. Right, are you still there? Word, that is loud. Thank you. Thank you for responding to my wishes, my friend. I can see you're a considerate murderer. Wouldn't want a horribly uncouth one, now, would I? Okay, have I fully explored this area? Because when I... Oh, gosh. I need to sort of lure him into here so that I can then get behind him. Sort of like run around that way. Catch him off guard. Unless he just totally gives up. No, he doesn't. He was being snaky. I feel like he would be helped by going a little bit faster and, you know, being able to go through doorways. I feel like that would significantly benefit the situation. But, you know, we'll leave that to one side for the moment. Yes. This is a problem that he can't get through doors, because it means I keep getting stuck in places. Yeah, because there's no way I can get through there. Oh dear. How am I going to make him go away? I need to get back that way. Oh dear. I'm going to go back and look for a few more bullets, perhaps. Either then, hopefully he will have reset a little bit. Or I can find some bullets which will stun him long enough for me to get through the doorway without being eviscerated by his great big hugs. And a man with arms as long as that, you know they're going to be good hugs. Hello again. What are you doing here? Is this a statue? My giddy aunt. That is a face and a half. I can see why you're so intent on nobody seeing it now, because frankly, I rather wish I hadn't seen it. Okay. I'm guessing what that is... Hang on a minute. Why is there just a door into the void? Why is there just a door into the void here? Never mind, we'll come back to the door into the void in a minute. I'm guessing that's because when he initially approaches you out of this door, for like the first jump scare, maybe that's meant to be like a scripted thing, and then that's like a separate like AI, as it were. Oh, hello again. Like a separate AI, as it were, is the one that then follows you around for the rest of the game. Why is there just a random torch sat here? This makes no sense. But never mind, it doesn't matter. I think we have managed to get behind him. Wonderful, and he hasn't started howling me ears off. So frankly, everything is just differently. Well, there goes the whole everything goes. Biffingly conclusion. I'm going to go into this one, yes, because this has bullets in it. I was wondering what that funny thing going up and down was. None of these. I have to wonder if... that's a nice design of torture rack. I like that. That's kind of cute. Yes, I was wondering what that bouncy up and downy thing was. But I'm also wondering whether that red thing is maybe some sort of health pack. Because I'm guessing that's the only thing it possibly could be. What if I fire you straight in the bombs? Nope, this is not working. This gun needs to go back to the drawing board, is all I can say about that. And now I've gotten myself stuck in a corner, and I'm just repeatedly I'm repeatedly being kneed in the face, which isn't exactly what I had in mind for this afternoon. But here you go, this is the situation that we're in, and I can't get out of it. So I think I'm going to sit here, enjoy the lovely yodeling, and restart the piano. Is it because it says can make 096 freeze? Is that the reason? Yeah, see look, he can also phase through walls, which the normal one isn't supposed to be able to do. Yeah, which really makes me feel like he is a completely separate entity to the one that chases you for the rest of your time in this lovely little dungeon. I do find myself wondering how the hell he's going to live in a dungeon. Right, but the door is locked. Oh, for goodness sake. Just give me the plastic. Yeah, the spookiness is toned down a tiny little bit by by the fact that there's suddenly two of you. Okay, at least that proves my fucking game design theory, if nothing else. Yeah, it's setting off two loads of sound effects as well, which is frankly making me ever so slightly deaf. Right. Okay, I am going to try and be as expeditious about this as humanly possible, because what am I trying to do again? Am I trying to capture him? Am I trying to kill him? Am I trying to... Okay, at least one of you can get through doors. Okay, maybe that was a glitch before. Maybe he was never supposed to get stuck in doors. Oh no, this one's locked. This one isn't though. This one has a key in it. Hooray. Hopefully it's got some fucking earmuffs as well. That would be absolutely lovely. Bullets. Let me try a few more bullets. Okay. Okay, so now we're back to the old situation. So that's why the first one was frozen. Not because his asset was finished, but because I had shot him. It's because I shot him and he was frozen. Yeah, this just doesn't work. So it seems like the first one you can freeze, but then the second one you can't. How? Very, very bizarre, and I don't know which way to go. I'm going to go this way and hope it's the right way. Well, of course it's the right way, because it wasn't the left way. But I'm sorry, that was disgraceful. Right, let us... What the hell? Skeletons thrown at me. That is a new thing. Oh, so that's what those were. Those weren't healing packs. Okay. Goodness, this is a big dungeon, and there he is again. How did he get over there? Right, okay, I didn't realise he could teleport. I mean, all the best SCPs can teleport. This is locked. There is something in there, though. Do you see it? Just there. There is definitely something behind that, or is it just the shadow of one of those? Looks roughly the same. Roughly the same shape. Oh dear. Right, okay. Oh dear. Let's just take a moment and relax, because frankly, after being chased by 2 of these things, having my ears howled off, frankly, I just need a moment to relax. What do we have here? A piece of paper. You got number 3. Okay. So is that what that little grey thing I could see peering through the wall was? It was a number on a piece of paper. Goodness, this place is enormous. So do I need to collect pieces of paper and then put them somewhere in order to open a door, like when I was collecting the pieces of paper of the SCP logo, in order to construct? Yeah, I feel like maybe the number 7 is in there. In order to construct the SCP logo to get through that other door. Right, okay. As I've said before, in many an indie horror game, I wouldn't normally approve of key finding exercises like this, but I don't mind this one too much. Oh, my theory about the number 7 was correct. Hooray. I don't mind this one too much because they're massive glowing keys in rooms with nothing else in them, so at least they're visible, which is a lot more than I can say for your average key in your average indie horror game. Okay, it seems like every other door in this place is locked. And I'm getting the distinct impression that the keys are not specific. Like, it's not a specific key opens a specific door, it's just when you have a key you can then open a locked door. What have we here? Something is missing. Yes. Presumably, the numbers will play a role in that. Can I see him up the other end there? I can see a little white blob. No, I can see something completely different. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't what I thought it was. Okie dokie. Let us have another key, please. Thank you. I'm not going to stand around to find out whether he can get through the door or not, because he's then just going to become a goalkeeper, and I'm not going to be able to get through. What? Okay, there goes my theory about the keys being non-specific. Anybody would think this game was a PhD thesis. We've got hypotheses being correctly and proven and disproven willy-nilly. It's a little unexpected. But okay, I'm guessing I've got to go around and open all of the locked doors, get all of the numbers, and presumably when I've got them all, that will then come together to give me the thing I need to get out of the door. Hey, it's another theory, and at the current rate it'll be proven or disproven within at least a few minutes. Right, there we are, that's another one. I think we've had 3, 7, and 6 so far, so give me a minute and I shall wander around for a little bit and see what else I can find. "963-724, because of course. Oh, hooray, we have escaped onto a planet from Star Wars, it seems, judging by the wacky foliage. Okay, so I was initially under the impression we were looking for 9 numbers, but it seems we were only looking for 6, and I have no idea why those 6 numbers in specifically, or why those in that order. I only know that these people meander very slowly, but I think I have escaped. Yay! If my objective was to escape, may I ask, why in the name of all hell did I go there? Right. Like, presumably I'm a Class D, which means I was in a cell, which means I was let out by some sort of researcher who wanted to either recontain 096 or do some research on him. I'm not convinced what research I did, other than figuring out that he's developed arthritis in his knees, which means he can't run very fast. He's trimmed his nails, which explains why his claws don't rip me to shreds quite as quickly as they used to. He hasn't lost any strength in his voice, though, so the choir will be most happy about that. And yeah, their invention of the special tranquilizer gun didn't work. Hooray. But never mind. Despite being a bit rough around the edges in some places, I think it would really benefit from a little bit more focus on like a stealth mechanic. If the idea was to get around the base, or rather the dungeon, without you noticing him is the key thing, not without him noticing you, because that's always the thing I've really liked about 096. It's a complete reversal of the whole stealth mechanic. It's not about the enemies not noticing you, it's about you not noticing the enemies, which is a really bizarre way of approaching a stealth mechanic. And I think if you had to continue doing these little objectives of finding the pieces of paper in order to open doors, and they spiced it up a little bit with some other stuff, maybe like some stuff you had to collect, or maybe some tasks you could perform that sort of related to the research or experiments they were doing on him, or something you could do to try and contain him, and sort of expand upon the objectives of the player. I think that could be a really fun way of doing it. But yeah, it's really nice, and it's quite a promising and fun and enjoyable little SCP game. I think it would also benefit if you went a bit faster, because it makes it a tiny bit too easy. Admittedly, the fact that they give you a tranquilizer gun makes you think it's going to be easy, and then it doesn't work, which makes you realise it's going to be a lot harder, which maybe that's intentional, maybe that's a bug, I don't know. But either way, it was quite fun. I rather enjoyed that, and I hope you did as well. So thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen, for this shotgun of SCP games. Always love to do a bit of SCP. It's always such a great thing. So thank you very much for joining me. Look after each other, and good night.